Struggled with a learning disability, depression, and I also nearly lost my mom.
I have overcame abandonment, neglect, abuse, and my family's drug addiction to become a mother to my 3 little brothers.
So Yumbirabam, Begari Amri, Purvi Mojo. So my family, they immigrated to America for a better life.
Hi, my name is Lindsay, and I grew up around opioid addiction. So I think that the first thing that stands out with my story would be when I was 6 years old, I found my mother overdosed in the bathroom, and it's really crazy to think back on that. First of all, just because I didn't realize how young I was, and I do remember it was in around 2nd grade, and my mother had been in the bathroom for a really long time. She always said she had IBS, and clearly that was kind of a lie just to cover up the fact that she would go into the bathroom to do her thing and to relax for a little bit. So she went into the bathroom for a while, and me and my sister were in my room, and we were just relaxing, and I realized that she was in there for a long time. So I went to go check on her because I always worried about my mom. That was my biggest fear, was my mom dying. I was a mama's girl, still am. And I peeked my head under the door, and I just saw a bunch of hair. And I tried to open the door, couldn't even slip through the crack to get to her, but she was laying on the floor. She was talking incoherently. She was clearly out of it. So I grabbed my sister, and I was like, something's wrong with mom. She called 911 and went to grab one of our neighbors, and it was funny enough, one of our pregnant neighbors was able to get through and get to help her.
My name is Fatima Gassama. I went to Wentwoods High School. I plan on going to Northern Kentucky University and to study international business. It was hard being from somewhere else when you go to school in America, because like when I went to school, I didn't realize it was different. Like, you know, when you're young, you don't really think about things like that. You're like, oh, this is just my friend. You know, then over time, people started to single me out and stuff like that. They'd be like, oh, that's that African girl. And I'm like, why does it matter? Like, I'm nice, you're nice, why can't we just be friends? So then like, when I started to go to school, people used to like start making fun of me, and I'm like, and I used to be confused because like it was cool back in the day. Like now, why can't we hang out no more? Like why you feel like I'm not good enough to hang out with you guys? So then I started to feel some type of way. And then the school, at first I went to Laughlin, and Laughlin is very populated with a lot of African people, like people who have parents like me that emigrated there. But Wentwoods is like a whole nother different thing. It's just like African Americans, like American people, or Hispanics, or Caucasian people. There's not like a lot of Africans. So I try so hard to be like them. So that's, I don't know, it's sad now that I think about it, like why did I try so hard to, like when people used to ask me if I was African, I used to be like, no, I was born here, like, you know, stuff like that.
My name is Cameron Webb. I went to Conner High School, and I'm going to Xavier University for physics engineering. A lot of stuff happened in a short period, in a short time, my freshman year, and I just was not ready for it, and I was still young, and I was new to high school, and I didn't know much people, and I was just trying to figure out who I was, and that being socially awkward, still like trying to find myself, and then also trying to overcome like my mom's cancer, and then my dad also, he got hit by a truck that I didn't even mention, but around the same time he got hit by a truck at an intersection, got sent to the ER, and at that point it was just me on my own, just trying to focus and just stay in it, because if I didn't, then it was just gonna fall apart. I had to start strong in high school, especially because if you start strong in high school, then you can keep your GPA up, and so I just did that, and I just worked through it. But yeah, that was mainly the hardest part, was just focusing on my mom's health and being there, and then also being on top of my schoolwork. So, and then I also had a commitment with sports because I was playing hockey. And then I had to quit playing hockey because we couldn't afford it. So that was also hard for me to take, and then it just got me in a deeper hole, but then I just managed to find other things to keep me going, like music.
My first name is Heather, my last name is Coker. I graduated high school at Butler Tech Bioscience Building, which is also Middletown High School, but Bioscience is a trade school. And then I plan on going to UC Blue Ash and then continue on for my 2 later years at UC. And I major in nursing. Well, the main struggle was an addiction towards drugs, but also we didn't have electricity, we didn't have water, we didn't have heat. Sometimes we didn't even have a home or like a way to feed each other. My mom's addiction started when she was younger, about Dylan's age, I would say, about 12 years old. Around that age, her parents got her on drugs. And then she had a more rough life than I had. And I think that's why she thought her escape was drugs, because that's all she knew was drugs. And like hers also ended up with sexual abuse, mentally, physically, all of that. And I think that's just what she turned to. And with her family members, they're not really there for her, which I'm afraid that one day she'll end up like my dad or my grandma and pass away, because when people are in that addiction, they just need that one person to reality to keep their feet on the ground. And I'm that person for her. My brother's dad, he was my person. He was one of the main people in my life that made me happy. And he made me feel like a kid. He made me feel safe, protected. But when he passed away, I fell into like a real deep depression. And I struggled a lot. Like I wanted to kill myself. I did not want to be here. But a picture of my brothers, every time I would try to commit suicide, a picture of my brothers would pop up in my head. And I knew that's why I was here. And I knew I had to be something for them.
This scholarship would allow me to, first of all, have the housing during my college experience, and to be able to smoothly go through my college experience and build a career for myself, and to have the higher education that I've been wanting for a very long time. And with the higher education, I would like to go into media arts. I would like to major in that and be able to make films and be able to produce those for the mainstream media. I'm a film fanatic. I love movies, I love TV shows, and I think I would really like to be like an editor or producer, more behind the scenes. And one of my biggest goals, that's kind of unrealistic, but I mean it's a goal, is to win an Oscar one day. Not for acting or anything like that, but you know, directing or something behind the scenes. That would be crazy to have an Oscar for that.
So reason why I picked nursing was when I was 11 years old, we got on the news when we got took away from my aunt's house. We was on the news, and like it was just about how nasty and filthy the house was. And then there was this police officer, one of the officers who came and got us and took us to our grandparents. He was just talking to me, you know how when they get kids, they're startled like that. They try to calm them down and talk about other stuff. And he was like, in 11 years, I could see you becoming a nurse. And that's something that stuck with me, because like everybody said, I'm gonna end up like my mom. Everybody said I'm gonna end up like this. They just already determined my future for me. And I thought I would have listened to them, I probably would have ended up that way. But I started thinking, I wanna be a nurse. I wanna be this, because he's the first person that saw something in me. So I stuck with being a nurse. And then I started looking at nursing as I got older, like different types of nursing. And nurturing is what I do. But with kids, that's what I really do. My brothers, I just raised them. And it's like I'm a mom. Any kid that's around me, I can be a mom too. And pediatrics is where I want to stay. So if a child like my brothers comes to me, I can help them.
Well, I'm the first generation, but my older brother, he went to college, dropped out, and it didn't work out. My sister, she's in and out, like she takes a semester off. So it's like, I feel like we're on the same, like, page. Like, I don't know, but I feel like I'm the only one that right after high school, I went to a state school. Like, I'm actually going to like a university. Like, it's a big deal, because that's not what's expected of us. Like, what's expected of us is to come here, work at a warehouse, send money, build a house back home, and go back.
I'm going to Xavier University for physics engineering. I'm minoring in business, and I plan on owning a company similar to Yamaha, where I would work with automotive parts and produce and manufacture automotive parts, and also manufacture music equipment and instruments.
God always has his hand around you, because he took a strong grip of me. You just have to believe in yourself and believe in God, your faith, because they might feel alone, but they're not. All they have to do is reach out. And honestly, if anybody were to reach out to me, I would help them. Even drive to them, even if I didn't know, because I understand the struggle. Because they're not alone. Sometimes it's lonely nights. They just got to keep pushing. They got to be hungry for the future and their success.